Hello and welcome to Tank and AFV News. My name's Tom and got another book review for today. This one is a book called Panzer Rollen, and it is edited by Bob Carruthers, is the name of the editor, the person who put this together. Published by Pen and Sword. This copy came to me from the fine folks over at Casemate, who've been very helpful providing review copies over the years for this channel. And this book is sort of a strange one. I hadn't really, it was one that wasn't on my radar. And just got an email from the publisher saying, hey, would you want to take a look at this one? I said, sure, that sounds really interesting, because the title is Panzer Rollen, the logistics of a Panzer division from primary sources. So just based on that, I assumed this was like a historical work where somebody using primary sources examined the logistics of a Panzer division. Because the logistics is sort of one of those topics that's really important, particularly in the context of World War II, which was very much such a war of resources and materiel. And yet most people tend to focus much more on like strategy and tactics. Logistics is one of those more like sort of less glamorous things that doesn't get addressed as much. So I was like, well, that sounds really interesting. And the problem is that's not what this book is. It is, when it says from primary sources, what it means, it's literally just primary sources that have been reprinted. So there's no history here. Like, nobody's done the job of historian, which is to take primary and secondary sources and then to reinterpret them and write something new that the reader can read and gain an understanding of the past about. So this is sort of the raw materials, I should say, that historians work with. This is primary materials, and what it is essentially a couple different German documents from the war. One is, and they're from U.S. military intelligence. These are documents that they got their hands on, translated into English, and then released to U.S. troops or officers to read so they could sort of understand the way that German units operated. So, the first part one is German Armored Division, so it's like Armored Division Doctrine, and the second one is German Motorized Infantry Regiment. And like I said, these sort of, to me, fall more in the realm of doctrine than logistics. This is about movement and operations, so like chapter 6 here, movement, security on the move, deployment, attack, how to attack, conduct of the attack. So, all those kind of things. And obviously it's very interesting, if you want to understand the way that these German units operated, or at least the way they were supposed to operate, then these primary documents are rather interesting. But, I'm not sure the value of printing them up in a book like this, particularly since these documents are already available online at websites like Lone Century, which is a fantastic website. There's tons of materials there for people that are interested in looking at, particularly like U.S. intelligence materials on the war and other primary documents from that era. So, but that seems to be, and like I said, I sort of looked up the guy who put this together. I don't know anything about him, but it seems like this is sort of his thing, is to take a lot of these old primary documents and then publish them in paper form. So essentially taking stuff that's, it's all in the public domain. It's not copyrighted, and, printing it up and monetizing it, which, good for him, but again, a lot of the stuff you can find online for free. So yeah, pretty disappointed with this one, frankly, because I thought, the title's, frankly, I think misleading. It's not really about logistics in the sense that I understand the word, and it's not from primary sources. It's just primary sources reprinted raw. So anyway, I'll give the details. It is retails for $19.95 from Pen and Sword. It has 128 pages, as well as 16 pages of black and white photos in the middle of various German tanks and whatnot. And this came out in late January of this year, so it's still a fairly current release. If this is something that you are interested in and you'd like these sort of primary sources in a printed format, then go for it. It seems like a well put together book. I don't have any complaints about the quality of the book itself. So I guess that's all I'll really say about this one. Again, I definitely appreciate these review copies from the fine folks at Casemate. And you know, like I said, sorry I couldn't give this one a little more of a thumbs up, but you know, I got to be honest. It's you know, I just don't think it's a very honest presentation the way that the title's done. So anyway, thank you. Hope you enjoyed this, and we will catch you on the next one.